r/Askreddit. Yo guys, how is it going? So in today's episode, we will be looking at NSFW, what unexpectedly turned you on. This guy I was seeing called customer service to get a company error corrected. He used the softest, firmest, most understanding tone I've ever heard, and I lost my damn mind. My friend will look me in the eye when I'm talking to him and like raise his eyebrows and shit to show he's listening, and goddamn is it hot. Maybe it's a female stereotype, but good listeners are hot LMFAO. Someone acting out of character, so a shy guy suddenly being aggressive or a loud dude being quiet in a situation that might call for it. So like a big loud dude being soft towards a cat, or a quiet dude defending someone in a fight. Once my very quiet and innocent friend who never curses said bitch, and I've never been the same since. My fiancé makes this sound when he's turned on by something I'm doing, or that he's looking at on me, but it can be a problem sometimes because he sometimes uses the same sound when he sees like an ad for food that looks really good. Is it the deep growl thing in his throat/chest? It's the Tim Allen grunt. When I was a freshman in college, an English boy in one of my classes said the phrase war of attrition with his English accent, and I had to go take a breather. Shame that there's a lot of British accents that makes us sound like we are having a stroke. That scene in Golden wears in-ear on a top squeezes that guy to death awoke something in me at a very young age. She always did like a good squeeze. She was always on a top of things. I don't have a medical fetish, but for some reason medical scrubs do it for me. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Likewise, no fetish, but a well-fitting pair of scrubs is hot. First off, I'm a guy, so my high school had a dark room for a black and white film photography program. I was the only boy in the course. There were about 10 to 15 girls in the class. I was pretty good, and by my junior year, I had been involved in the program longer than any other student. Having so much experience led to me being a good place to go for advice on printing their photos. I would go to their station to figure things out, and the same 3 friends of mine that were girls in that class would come up behind me and rest their chin on my right shoulder, and that would always wake me up. I never expected something like that to send goosebumps up and down my body and warrant a reaction downstairs, but it happened, and I took it in stride from then on. My girlfriend, when she picked up a knife, didn't expect that one. Edit. To be clear, it was a normal butter knife and we were at dinner. She just happened to lick something off the blade and suddenly I was pitching a tent. She in no way was attempting to murder me. I accidentally Pavloved myself. There used to be this porn I watched with 2 chicks in it that had no audio other than music by Disturbed. Years later, Disturbed came on the radio. I instantly got turned on. Was so confused for like 10 seconds. Oh rah. Hung out minigolfing with a group of friends. Our resident goof was being her typical self, kinda ditzy and along for the ride, but not very skilled, just sorta aloof. Also, she's into me, but it's unfortunately not mutual. We all went to play pool as a last minute decision, and as it turns out, her aunt has a pool table in her house and she's been playing for ages every week. She snapped instantly into an extremely unusual focus and level of skill. The pool cue was an extension of the body that she was moving across, on, and around the table, like it was a sophisticated dance that nobody knew better than her. I have never been more aroused by that woman than I was that night. Ever since, it's been the same group dynamic. She's been the same person that I'm platonically friends with. I'll never forget how she woke something up in me that night though, or how weird it was. Physical therapy. A no bullshit Indian lady is working on my neck. I start to droop my head. She unceremoniously yanks me back into position. Keep your head up. Damn. Yes, mistress. Late to the party, but whatever. Being in my tent. Like, I don't even know. When I'm camping, and I retire to my tent, slip into my sleeping bag, and zip up the little tent door. I have no idea, but apparently that really does it for me. What a strangely pure fetish ball. Fear. Years ago I was playing the first BioShock with an ex in a fully darkened room with a wall-sized projector. At some point we came across an operating room where the lights were flickering. blood everywhere and then got jump scared by a psycho doctor. Full on threw that controller across the room and jumped into his arms. Shortly after we got busy. Years later when my mom died I uncovered her old stash of Omni magazines where I found an article on the fear response and sexual arousal and it all made sense. Edit. To add a link. Watch at the risk of feeling frisky. Was in bed with my girlfriend and the remote was at the end of the bed. I sit up and basically lazily reach for it on all fours. I'm in some boxer briefs that have a pouch like thing for your junk, so when I bent over my ball bulge was pretty much in her face. She just playfully punched me in the balls and it hurt and stung, but I almost instantly got hard. I'm now laying on my back holding my balls in protection. She can see the outline of my obvious boner though, and starts laughing confusedly. She volunteered to blow me as an apology, and since I was already hard, I asked her to tap my balls a little throughout, and I nutted harder than ever. Basically now all of our foreplay commences with light ball busting. A couple years back, my girlfriend at the time and I used to have sex while Pandora played. Every once in a while a car insurance commercial would play in the middle of songs. We laughed it off, but it didn't distract us from doing the deed. Fast forward a couple years forward, and I hear that same car insurance commercial. Instant erection. Paging Dr. Pavlov. A friend told me she had a being choked fetish while we were Black Friday shopping. So, obviously, I jokingly choked her in the middle of a crowded Target. Almost nothing at 11:27 PM in the middle of a Target is how I discovered I like choking. Eater. I'm female. Still like choking people. First time a girl told me she wanted to be choked, and that pure look of her being aroused by my power over her made me realize I very much like control, and changed me forever lol. So when I was in my early teens and just discovering sex, I decided that, since I was a bit of an artist, I could draw porn for myself. I started with a vag and that was all well and good, but then I decided to try a dick and suddenly sproing. I was not expecting that in the slightest. Paint me like one of your repressed tendencies. When my so jokingly bit my butt, I was lying naked on the bed after a shower and he straight up bit my butt cheek as a joke and dang, it did things. Honestly sometimes when I'm getting changed my BF will just get on his knees behind me and kiss/bite/caress my butt and I'm gone. Never thought that would have been a thing for me but wow. I'm a butt guy and once my so. And I got past the doing random sexual things to each other is a bit awkward and might be cringy phase. I do this fairly often. She loves it. I love doing it. It's a win-win. There was a girl I worked with who kind of got on my nerves a lot. Then one day she started going on about how much she loves bats, and I instantly wanted her. The juxtaposition of basic bitch and weird obsession with an unusual animal really did it for me. As someone with a couple of guilty basic bitch pleasures and an unhealthy obsession with axolotls. Thank you. There is hope for me yet. Did you say axolotls? My wife doesn't really ever swear, except when we are doing the deed. Then she throws around F-bombs freely. One day she kicked the corner of the table and screamed out aloud D-U-U-U-C-K. I had a Pavlovian response in my shorts. 12 years ago my wife said duck me like you paid for it. I still think about that. Really makes you think. Went to yoga with my lady friend. At the end of the class, the instructor had us all lie on our backs on our mats, and she was humming or lightly singing. Then she rubbed a lemony oil on our shoulders and foreheads, and the touching and humming gave me a braingasm, and I've been into ASMR ever since. My lady friend did not like hearing how much I enjoyed the conclusion to the class. A mistake I never repeated. Edit. Lotion switched to oil. It just happens. I just went to a barber shop for the first time and the available barber was a female. I figured I'd be safest with her. All the other barbers are large men with lots of tattoos, which I find sexy as hell. Long beards, sharp hair. UNF. So said female barber starts working on my hair and I instantly got a lady boner. She was so precise with her hand movements, not one motion wasted. The gentle deliberate way she worked on my hair, faded sides. I have a mohawk of sorts, and the straight blade cleanup really got my juices flowing. She was definitely not my type, but it did not matter. She put a warm towel on my neck and gave me what I am so glad was not the best massage I'd ever had. because if she had I'm pretty sure I would have moaned audibly. In 30 minutes I had so many shivers shoot down my spine, and as a result I definitely needed sex. She was nothing but the perfect example of professionalism and respect, but she was so skilled that I noticed through her hand movements. I only had to say once what I wanted. She heard every word and executed it perfectly. Passion for your work may also be a thing of mine. Lol. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.